it's worth a lot of money. So they want to take a horn from a rhino, which this is also what bothers me so much. First of all, you shouldn't fucking take a rhino's horn.
Correct.
It fucks up all the evolution, everything. It's completely wrong on every level. But like, you could do that and not fucking kill the rhino.
That's
but
right.
they're so savage that they go in there and you've seen it, but like they literally hack off its full horn and leave it there to bleed out an awful 2-hour, 3-hour slow death.
Yeah, after they've shot it, 2 or 3 times to stop it.
So terrible, man.
And they'll never just, even if we were like, okay, it's legal to harvest rhino horn, you just have to tranquilize them or whatever, they still wouldn't, because there's a nub beneath the skin that's in the bone, and every ounce is worth so much, right? It's like worth more than gold. So they need to get every little piece of it. So they literally have to cut its face out, basically, to get the horn.
It's horrible.
It's unreal. The poaching thing has become so problematic the world over, and the effort that we have to go to stop it now, the amount of guns and military training and fighting just to stop poaching. I mean, it sounds insane. Wildlife, I don't know if you know this, but wildlife trafficking, animal trafficking, is the 3rd largest illegal trafficking ring in the world.
Yeah.
It's billions of dollars. Yeah. And it's just crazy. Like, how is that even an industry?
How do you stop it when you do have something that is that large of a financial incentive?
I think you have to, well, education's a big one, and that's why people talk about it all the time. And that's such a drab, boring answer. But just talking about, look, a rhino horn is literally the same thing as our fingernails or our hair. Like, it has no medicinal properties. That comes from education. And then I think the other way is to somehow change the market. If you can, rhino horn, tiger whiskers, the reason they're so valuable is because they're rare. Anything that's rare is valuable.
Wait,
right?
tiger whiskers? I haven't heard that one before.
It gives you a nice big dick, dude. Don't you know that?
Tiger whiskers.
Tiger whiskers, yeah. Yeah. So if you, again, Asian medicine, Eastern medicine, is it a tea or ground up? I don't remember, but something with tiger whiskers that you drink allegedly gives you virility. And so, there's tiger whiskers, there's seahorses, there are all these things that have zero research to support that they actually help. Is there a way, like there's a group in San Francisco I know that was making synthetic rhino horn. Can you flood the market with rhino horn so that if it's accessible to everybody and you can't tell the difference between real and fake, then it doesn't have the appeal any longer.
Yeah, and I would hope something like that actually could help solve it. Unfortunately, I think part of it is like same kind of human concept in that people, even though it's starting to get impressive, people aren't watching an AI movie right now because they know a human didn't make it.
That's right.
Right?
I do agree with that.
So when you have the rhino horn, they're like, well, I know that one was just a recreation. It's not the real thing.
Yeah.
There's something sick in the human spirit.
Yeah.
For some of these people, that's like, oh, I want to be able to have a rhino horn on my desk when we do that business meeting and know it came from a fucking rhino.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah.
And it's just, when I've done a lot of research into this over the years because it bothers me so much. But, when you look at the numbers, I mean, you mentioned it with the white rhino example, but when you look at the numbers of how populations were just decimated in the 20th century, and particularly as it went along, like what happened to elephants, it went from like 1,000,001 in Africa down to at one point it was like 275. I think it's back up to like maybe 465, something like that right now.
It's crazy.
But like at least that's trending in the right direction. But you still have that rampant problem, and you have to have people covering, as you well know because you grew up in it, hundreds of miles of land in some cases that they're responsible for, where it's like, yeah, an elephant's a big animal, but it's still like a needle in a haystack.
That's right. And those people that are tasked with protecting it are underfunded. They don't get the incentive. If you're some local guy living in a hut who never, the most money he's ever seen in his life is maybe $100, and then along comes some mafioso Asian mafia guy and goes, "I'll give you $100,000 if you give me a rhino horn," and you're like, my family will never need food again.
Yes.
They'll never need a house again. They'll never want for clothing again. And literally, like, I have a kid who's dying of AIDS over here. Like, I'd do that. I'd
Yeah.
shoot a rhino. I wouldn't, but you know what I mean? Like
No, I
if my
understand
son
what you
was
mean.
dying
Yeah.
of AIDS and I was too poor to give him shoes or clothes or clean water or medicine or anything, and I lived, you know, and somebody
What's
else.
one rhino?
What's one rhino?
Yeah.
Like I've just provided for my family for the rest of their life, and that's the problem. And those are the guys that end up in prison. You know,
Yes.
it's the guy who just got offered $100,000, not the guy who actually made the offer.
Yes.
And those are the guys that get shot and get in prison and everything else. And they're not all completely innocent, but still, like it's such a tough system to beat because
Yeah.
they're just trying to support their family, provide. They're not trying to get rich or anything.
And it's a short-term economic incentive for the minimal means for survival, like you said.
Yeah.
That's long-term economically disincentivizing the entire continent if you would lose something like that. It's the biggest industry.
And there's always another guy.
Yeah.
Right? That guy gets shot, he gets killed, he gets busted by the cops. There's always the next
There's
guy.
always the next
because
guy
if you're
up.
in impoverished nations where everybody's desperate and people are literally starving to death, there's always another guy.
Now, they made a really good documentary about 7-8 years ago on Netflix called The Ivory Game.
I remember that. I
yeah.
haven't seen it, but I remember when that came out.
Yeah, it was good. I think that was one of the ones Leonardo DiCaprio was involved with.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one thing in there where it's like, oh, you see how complex it is, and where I actually understood. And it wasn't, you know, some dude being hired to like go kill an elephant or something like that. There was a situation where they show one of the scientists in the show and one of the conservationists with them meeting with local townspeople who live right outside the bush, who were saying that the elephants are, because they're free to roam, obviously, and they eat the vegetation, they were coming in and eating their vegetation over and over again, but they were in one of these like protected areas where the anti-poachers are watching them. And the townspeople who were poor and relied on these crops to put food on the table were saying, not over a dead elephant body, over alive elephants, they were saying it to the scientists right there, like, if they keep doing this and you don't stop it, we're going to have to kill them because they're taking away our ability to put food on the table. And I appreciate the fact that the documentary showed that, because then it's not the elephant's fault. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But it shows how complex it is when you have such, you know, the most powerful creature in the jungle living among where people have to live and try to thrive.
We conducted, my team and I conducted the largest elephant translocation in Mozambique's history.
Translocation?
Catching them and moving them to another location, like a relocation, but it's called translocation when you do it with animals.
You gotta watch that word these days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's funny. It didn't even register to me. Such a dork. But yeah, so we did this big elephant move with 24 elephants. We ended up putting 14 on the TV show, but you know, that was enough. But in the situation we were in, very similar to what you just mentioned in Ivory Games, the elephants were coming into this area near the Maputo Special Reserve outside of Mozambique, outside the capital Mozambique, Maputo. And they were not only eating the crops, but because they'd been doing that and they weren't protected, they weren't regulated, like what you just mentioned, the farmers, and they're just subsistence farmers, you know, just subsistence farmers, they were shooting them and throwing rocks at them and throwing fire, you know, like fire on sticks at them and things like that. And so the elephants were now pissed off as well. So the elephants would come in, sneakily try and get, you know, some corn or something from the crops they're growing right next to their houses. Then some guy would come out and shoot a .22 at them, put a hole into its trunk. Then the elephant would rampage through the village. When we got there, 3 weeks prior, one of the elephants that we caught had run through the village, trampled a hut, and killed a pregnant mother and her 3-year-old. And it's so complex because nobody wanted that ivory, but they wanted the elephants gone. But the elephants were there long before they were, and now they had overpopulated that reserve to the point that they were pushing out of the park's boundaries and going into these villages. It's just like it's something I try and explain to people that everybody seems to have a hard time wrapping their head around, is there is no blanket solution to conservation. Every single species, every single situation an animal is in is a unique problem that needs solving. And that's what's so hard. Like, there can be a blanket economic solution. There can be a blanket political solution. There is no such thing as a blanket conservation solution.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, how did you, what does that full process look like when you're relocating elephants? Like, how do you really pull it off?
It's hard. I mean, we had 65 personnel on the ground. We had 6 semi-trucks, 3 helicopters, a bunch of safari vehicles, 5 vets. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it was a big to-do that we put together. We funded it through Discovery Channel's Discovery Channel doesn't pay for it. They love the credit, but they pay me to make a TV show. And then I, instead of taking a profit, pay for these conservation things. And I don't do it all the time, but when a situation like this comes up where it's like, literally I was talking with my contacts over there and they're like, look, either we relocate these elephants or we're going to shoot them because they're killing people. And to me, it was like, okay, what does it cost to shoot them? About 60 cents a bullet, 8 bullets. All right, what does it cost to relocate them? About $250,000. You know, it's like, so the Mozambique government, Mozambique, like looks at this as a financial problem. And they're like, well, it's pretty easy. We can solve the problem for $8, you know, or you can do something for $500,000, $250,000, but I'm not going to pay for it.
Ain't it horrible how the moral solutions or the ethical solutions cost more? You know, I can go get a fucking burger that's giving me cancer and AIDS or whatever the fuck from fucking McDonald's for $1, but if I want to buy like good fresh fruit from the earth, it might be $4 a pound.
It's crazy. It makes no sense. It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, so I sold this show called Mysterious Creatures, the same one I caught anacondas on and some other stuff. And I took Discovery will be so mad if they hear this. But basically I took like 3 of the episodes' budgets and poured it into this one project to film it. And, you know, I put it out there and everything else, but we actually paid for the conservation work. And that was a choice by me. You know, it's like Discovery can't do anything about it. But we did this unbelievable capture. And so, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, things that people don't talk about, like when you're capturing an elephant, one, it's an elephant. So you have to herd them moving like helicopters working together to push them as close as you can to a road. And anytime one splits off, you have to send the helicopter out and try and like herd it closer. Meanwhile, the helicopter's going down and almost hitting the back of the elephant with the skids, because if you go up 5 feet, elephants are super smart. They just run under it.
Are they freaking out at all too when you're doing?
Hugely.
They got to be doing everything.
Not only are they freaking out, now they have more adrenaline in their system. Every different elephant, you have to estimate the amount of sleep drugs you're putting into them. And if you overestimate, you kill them on the spot. Like if I shoot a baby with a tranq rifle that has the amount for an adult in, that baby's dead in 5 minutes.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Then once you shoot them, you have 3 minutes from when you hit them to when they hit the ground asleep. Sorry, you have about 11 minutes from when you hit them with the dart to when they hit the ground asleep. But when they hit the ground asleep, when they fall over asleep, if they land on their trunks, elephants can only breathe from their trunks. They can't breathe from their mouths. You have 3 minutes before they die of asphyxiation. So you have to go from darting an elephant somewhere in the bush in a helicopter to on the ground, pulling its trunk out and you can't get on the ground before it hits the ground because it'll kill you because it's all upset and chaotic. So you have to wait till it hits the ground. Then you have to literally find somewhere to jump out of a helicopter and get to that elephant in 3 minutes and pull its trunk out and monitor its breathing. Otherwise it dies of asphyxiation. And then wherever the elephant has hit the ground, you have to now cut a road in to bring a semi-truck, because you can't just pick up an elephant, to lift it with a crane onto the back of the semi-truck when the road you've just cut. So this is all happening in minutes. And then you have to bring a crane in, lift this elephant onto a flatbed, move the elephant onto a flatbed, onto a conveyor belt truck, all custom built, into a containment to then wake it up, because you can't leave them asleep for hours, and then transport it 1,000 miles. And we had to do this with 24 elephants.
And this only cost $250,000? That's what's crazy. Like, it seems like it would cost even more than that.
It did. There was I paid for half of it, and there was a benefit, or whatever you'd call it, a contributor from Texas who paid for the other half, that didn't want the credit or anything. They just wanted to contribute.
Wasn't Tiger King.
It was not Tiger King. I don't think he pays for anything but himself.
Yeah. I didn't think so. Just want to make sure.
And gold pants.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that how fast you got to get on the ground with
It's like that. And we didn't lose a single animal.
Can you imagine, like, and you don't hit one enough, and then you guys get on the ground and you just hear,
that happened.
It did?
So I was working with our vet, Zhao, and he shot the mom and the baby with tranq, and the mom went down, and the baby, like, the needle hadn't gone in all the way. So we get on the ground, and we have to get on the ground because, by the way, a baby's still bigger than a bull. Like, I mean, a bull, like a cow bull, huge. Yeah. So the mom goes down, and we have to get to her to pull her trunk out or she's going to die. And the baby's still standing, like, woozy. So we go shooting in, and the baby comes to try and attack us, you know, like just trying to defend its mom. It's not really trying to attack us, but we pull the trunk out from the mom. Now the baby isn't going down because the tranq hasn't gone enough, but we don't know how much of the serum's gone in. So now we're mixing more tiny micro doses of serum. So we mix like 2 more, bunk, shoot it, nothing, mix another one, shoot it, bunk, nothing. Eventually I go, that baby needs to go down. We cannot put any more fucking serum in it. So the guy I'm with is like, what are we going to do? I'm like, I'm going to fucking tackle it. Because
Oh my God.
Because when their adrenaline's going, sometimes they don't. So I'll explain it like this. When you have tranq in your system, if your adrenaline is cranking too high, it takes the blood flow of you tipping over to put you to sleep. But if you overdose it, you'll kill it.
Yes.
So we get in, we get mom's trunk out. It's this whole dance where the baby's trying to fucking kill us. Get the trunk out, hide in the bushes. Baby goes back to trying to like stand around mom, like all scared, all confused, wobbly. Boom, shoot it, not going down. Again, shooting with tranq, not a gun. And then eventually I'm like, fuck it, hold my gun. So I give the guy the gun. This is all on our Discovery Channel show. And I just run in, and it's too big for me to like shoulder tackle it. So I just run in and double knee kick it and like grab it like this and put my knees up and tip the baby over. And the baby hits the ground and goes straight out. But I think if we'd given it one more dose, it would have died. And it was fine. It woke up fine with mom in the containment box.
No hesitation said, I'm going to be Ray Lewis, and then halfway through said, I'm going to be Antonio Brown.
It was me. It was me or the elephant, bro. If I didn't do it, it was probably going to die. So we had to do something. Yeah, and that was like one of the most intense moments of that whole thing.
Nuts.
Yeah, and you just see me run up. It's like, it sounds very like athletic. It was kind of slow motion, but I kind of like run up, put my arms over it, and just jump up with my knees, and then the baby hits the ground, passes right out next to mom.
That's fucking nuts.
It was crazy. Yeah, it's all on our show too.
All right, I gotta check
it's
that
wild.
out. But you moved these things 1,000 miles, and they stayed within the area, the new area that you put them.
So we moved them from this area called Maputo Special Reserve to a place called Zanav, which is a new national park. Mozambique was ravaged by war, and during the war there, all the animals got eaten and killed and poached because people were hungry and starving.
Right.
So then they built this new national park called Zanav now that it's peaceful there, but there's no elephants left. So we took elephants from an overpopulated and moved them 1,000 kilometers, so it's like 600 miles, something like that, to Zanav, and then let them go there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cool that, at the end of that, you have to feel not only like you're making a difference, but you just moved the biggest animal on earth.
Yeah.
24 of them.
Yeah. And saved their lives.
Saved their lives, created a new environment. Like, that's got to be like a Superman kind of feeling.
It is. It is. I mean, like, I'm not like I get very excited, as you can tell, but I'm not like a super emotional person. That was one of like 2 times working with wildlife in my life that I've cried, and I like don't even know why I cried. I wasn't sad. I was happy, but it wasn't the joy of finding that tortoise where I'm like holding this thing. Like, I just watched elephants go out of a box, and I just sort of started weeping. And I was like, I don't even know why I'm crying, but it was just such an intense couple days and like so much adrenaline, and the adrenaline held with me until the last elephant went out of the box. And then it was just like, I wasn't like broken over crying, but I literally had like tears running down my face as the last elephant went out. And I was just like, holy shit, we did it. Like, I can't believe we did that. Like, we actually succeeded.
But everything that went into it too, it's like, that's crazy. That's part of it as well.
And
like,
to save the largest land animal in the world, and literally like the bull, this big, incredible bull that was in charge of the whole herd, like, I put my hand on him while he was lying there, and you take when the elephant's down, you take its ears and you cover its eyes to, you want it less light, less stress. So you cover its eyes, and I put my hand on it, and I just sat there when we finally got the bull. We got the bull at the very end of the trip. I was like, holy shit. Like, not only is this the largest animal to walk the earth, this is the largest one of this group, and the bull that is in charge of this whole group of animals. Like, this is the leader. And now we've got him. And like with moving him, elephants have such an intense EQ, emotional intelligence.
Yes.
We can't even understand it. We really cannot. Matt James will tell you the same thing. Like, you and I will never feel the emotions an elephant can feel.
It's that strong.
I believe it is. I believe they feel happiness way happier than we'll ever feel, and sadness way sadder. They can die of a broken heart easily.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the video of like the mother weeping over her child, and as it's basically dying of dehydration.
Yeah.
And then the videos, there's millions of them where they're mourning one of their lost, and they have like a funeral.
Exactly,
an
elephant funeral. Yeah, exactly. So I believe that their emotional range is much larger than ours. So we had to catch every animal. Like we couldn't leave one behind from this family group because of the emotional tear and damage it would have done to them, in addition to just the stress and the scare and being caught and moved and everything else. And anyway, when we finally caught that bull, like I just had this unbelievable like feeling of accomplishment and this emotion. And then we let them all go, and knowing that we kept the whole herd together. And what's crazy is you think an animal's an animal, right? Like if you raise a dog one way, like you could get a dog that was a fighting dog, you know, in the illegal underground fighting ring, and you could hand raise its puppies, and that dog would probably love you, right?
Yes.
And lick you all over the face. Those elephants, from what studies have shown, it'll take 6 to 8 generations before they forget what people did to them. So those elephants that we moved, how crazy is that? Those elephants that we moved to Zanav, it's not like their babies are going to like people all of a sudden because it's going to be calm and people aren't going to be chasing them or shooting them.
They're still going to be...
They're going to have that information passed down from their grandfathers, fathers, blah, 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 blah. And for 6 to 8 generations before they start trusting people again and being like, okay, if I see a person, I'm either going to attack or run away.
Well, that's the thing. They're the largest creature out there, so by default, they're therefore the most dangerous. But they're not built to be that. They're built to be these fun-loving creatures that just, hey, I'll do my business, you do yours. Don't fuck with me. But people in certain environments like that have made them have to be like, yo, fuck you.
That's right.
Now, when you grew up, though, and were going out in the bush out there in Zimbabwe, did you ever come across, you know, like friendly elephants that you could actually get close to and that you knew on a personal level?
100%. And so my family ran safari businesses in a handful of spots, but Mana Pool, Zimbabwe is, in my opinion, the greatest safari place on planet Earth. And I've been to a lot of them. Mm. And one of the reasons it's so fantastic is it's been a protected national park with very limited poaching for a very long time. And there, the elephants, like you just said, they see you as you do your thing, I'll do my thing, and we won't bother each other one bit. Doesn't mean you can walk up and tickle an elephant. It's just like seeing a bison in Yellowstone, right? Don't go try to take a selfie with it, but it's not going to attack you.
I can't believe people do that.
It's wild. But that's how the elephants were in the place that I grew up. Yeah. And one of the things that was the most profound thing that ever happened to me was when I was a little boy. I was like 8 or 10 years old. We were fishing on the banks of the Zambezi River, my granddad and I, and this bull elephant came down. So there's like this bank, and there's this little ravine, and we walked down the ravine because it was the only way to get to the river, because otherwise it's like a sheer bank. Mm-hmm. So I'd gone through this ravine to the river, and I'm fishing, and of course, the elephant also realized the only way to get to the river was come through the ravine. Mm. So all of a sudden, I'm standing in a ravine that's no wider than this table, fishing at the only spot you can access the water, and this elephant comes up behind me. Walls on each side, and this long ravine. So there's nowhere for me I can't go in the water. This is the Zambezi River. I'll be eaten by a crocodile in 2 minutes. So I'm standing there fishing, and this big elephant comes down, this bull elephant. And I actually have a photo of it from when I was a kid. My mom was watching and thought I was going to get killed up on the bank, and she took a photo. And this elephant...
He's going to get killed. Let's get a picture.
Well, she was like screaming and everything, but she managed to get a photo.
Hold still.
Yeah. But this elephant comes down, and I'm with my granddad. My granddad goes, "Don't move, Forrest, don't move." So I just stand quietly sitting like up against the bank. This elephant comes from me to you, looks at me, goes, "Phew," and then just puts its trunk in the water and starts drinking. And me being the idiot I was, I'm like, looking at my granddad. My granddad's like, "Don't move, don't move, don't move." And I was like, and I cast my line and kept fishing. And the elephant like looked at me and just went back to drinking. We couldn't get in or out of the ravine because of where the elephant's body was. He just had his drink, turned around, and left. And I was you to me from the elephant, completely wild animal, but I posed him no threat. He posed me no threat. We were just two beings living in the same place, occupying the same niche, left each other alone, respected each other's space, and went about our day. And
that
it was
is so fucking cool.
It was one of the most profound things that's ever happened to me.
And you said you were 8 or 10 years old,
something like that. Yeah, I look pretty
little. So you're even
in
like
the picture.
Way smaller. Like you're small now compared to an elephant, but back then it's like you're literally looking at a giant.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
and I mean, it just moves so majestically too.
Yep. And it's crazy because you think of an elephant, you think you're going to hear an elephant coming a mile away and stuff. They're silent in the bush. You don't hear them coming at all. They have those big pads on their feet. You know, you
can't hear like shit moving a little bit.
Barely hear them. Like maybe a little bit of like leaf crunching, but the way an elephant moves through the bush, you or I walking through the bush is louder than an elephant walking through the bush.
So how often, like when they go to make their noises, that's more during times of stress. right?
not necessarily.
Like if they when they make like a loud one or something like that, where they really
Yeah,
throw
like
the
a big
tusk up.
trumpet or something. It
Yes.
can be a warning signal. I mean, they can also call miles apart to call another herd, you know, like, hey, we're going over here for water, or where are you? Like a locator
Got it.
call, you know, but
So that doesn't necessarily mean danger or something's in the environment that they
no,
don't like.
that can be a reason for them to make a loud sound, but oftentimes it's just communication. This place that I have been filming at a lot in India called Vantara, that's insane. They have a lot of Asiatic elephants, you know, especially ones rescued from circuses and things like that. And they have this, it's unbelievable. It doesn't even make sense. The world's only elephant jacuzzi. It's a giant, it's insane, dude. You'll see, I'll show it to you on my YouTube if you want. It'll blow your mind. It's the world's only hydrotherapy pool for arthritic elephants. Yeah, and it's all heated and pressure treated and crystal clear, and it's so bonkers nuts. Anyway, the elephants go in there and they just make the same sound you or I would when you get in a hot tub after working out for really hard, and you're just like, ah. And you see the elephants go into this hydrotherapy pool, and they're like they just make this happy trumpet, and you're just like, it's like this heartwarming thing to hear them just like give this sigh of excitement for getting in the hot tub. It's so nuts.
Forrest Galante elephant.
Type in Forrest Galante Vantara, Vantara, and it should pop up.
Forrest, what was that? VAR?
Vantara. It's this unbelievable place. The Anad Ambani, the guy who had like Justin, it's somewhere in there. But that guy who had Justin Bieber sing at his wedding, you know, the really wealthy Indian guy,
had like the fucking $40 billion wedding.
Yeah, that guy. Is it this one? Sorry, go back to my channel, and it's the second one down.
This one, right?
Yeah, I'll show you the elephant jacuzzi in here. If you just scroll over, go a little bit more. It's right. You're right there, right there. That's it.
Let's throw this on camera. Oh shit!
How
I wanna
crazy
get
is
some
this?
Volume pumped into this one. Got that on.
This is the world's first elephant jacuzzi.
It is world's first temperature controlled jacuzzi.
Hey, give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. I love this. This is amazing. This is blowing
Look at
my
him.
mind. I'm so overwhelmed with emotion being here, knowing what these animals have been through,
I know.
and seeing what
They're all
this is
rescues,
like. I
these
mean,
elephants.
This is paradise.
So they were
Yeah,
logging
I mean, for us,
elephants.
it's
They were
really
in the
amazing,
circus,
really,
like pretty
really
rough
satisfying to
lives.
see them
Yeah.
enjoying, and especially in the conditions they come.
This is unbelievable, Doctor.
Yeah, but if you think this is crazy, you know, let me show you some more stuff.
Okay, let's go.
If you think this is crazy, that's so cool.
But it goes on and on. It's a long video, but it's so cool because this guy, that guy who had the $40 million wedding or whatever it was, Anand Ambani, he's created this rescue center for animals in northern India, and everything's like that, state of the art, top tier. It's like a paradise for animals. It's kind of crazy because the animals, whatever's there, they have over 200 tigers, and they have like all this stuff that's been rescued, and whatever's there has basically been through this like super hardship life, and now lives a way better life than you or I or most billionaires. I mean, like, they are so pampered. Like, there's shots in here of them getting foot rubs and being fed grapes while the elephants lie on their back. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's like the level of respect and care. It's that's why I love filming at this place, because it's
That's
so cool. Yeah.
India's got a crazy biosphere. All kinds of different cool animals
Everything.
over there.
Yeah.
So you've been spending a lot of time there, you said.
In the last year, I've started spending a lot of time there. I'd been twice before, but now since meeting Anad and getting invited to this place, this Vantara place, he's like, it's open doors, man, whatever you want to do.
That's cool.
You know, within reason. It's not like I can go like tickle the tigers, but
Right.
he's like, you know, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to film, like, we got nothing to hide. Like, come here and take a look and film it and share it if you want. And him and I have become pretty good friends. And so I go back and forth and I film there when I have free time, and been putting out YouTube videos on it so people can see it. It's really cool.
Your YouTube channel's great. Great content going
Thank
on
you.
there. You've been doing that a long time. So if people somehow have not checked that out, we'll have that link down below. But are there any mysterious, potentially extinct species in India that you're interested in trying to find?
Oh yeah, there sure are. There's a particular shark, the Ganges river shark, that used to live. Yeah, a river shark, kind of like a bull shark here.
Yeah, they catch those fuckers right off
I know.
the Hudson Bridge, not the bridge, but right on the front park here. It's
Well, I
kinda
don't know if
scary.
you know this, but they're the real reason behind Jaws. Do you know that?
The bull sharks.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've jumped over jumped over one and jumped right around one twice in my life. So I don't go in the water south of New Jersey now. But
So New Jersey itself and bull sharks are the foundation for Jaws, the movie, the story, everything. So most people don't know this, but there was an incident in a river where 2 days apart, 2 kids were killed. You've heard about this?
Yes.
Okay,
This
killed
is
by bull
down,
sharks.
That's where they had this in The Sopranos. What the fuck is that river called?
Oh, I don't know the name of the river.
By New Brunswick. I
That's
think,
right. Yeah, that's
Keep
right.
going.
Yeah. And anyway, this one individual bull shark they believe figured out that it could eat people in this river. So it would come in out of the ocean and swim up and down this river and look for kids that would swim in there in the summertime. And it killed 2 kids in like 2 days. And there was all these news headlines about, Jaws, the killer shark, blah, blah, blah. And that led to the author writing it and Spielberg making the movie and everything else.
Yeah, that story I remember. I actually didn't know that was the basis of Jaws itself. But yeah, you're talking about the
That's
ones
it.
in 1916,
That's
the
it, the
Jersey Shore shark attacks.
That's it. That's them.
They were a series of shark attacks along the coast of New Jersey between July 1 and 12, 1916, where 4 people were killed and 1 was critically injured. Yeah, oh, fuck that, bro. That's the thing. Like, I do feel like a lot of my family's down in Ocean City, New Jersey, right down here. I do feel very safe swimming in Ocean City. I don't know why. Maybe I shouldn't. But like when I've had my run-ins with sharks, they were when I was a kid. That's, by the way, that's the bridge, Matawan.
I've never seen that. Yeah, the
Creek.
shark bridge. That's cool.
But there were the ones that I had the run-ins with were down in Florida. And I remember the second time I was in there, it was like a calm day. And then I was the only one in there. And then out of nowhere, I just hear my mom like, come in.
Yeah.
And I was a swimmer. I was a year-round swimmer at the time. I was probably like 11. And so I was like, okay. So I turn around and you go to get one of those like jump starts.
Yeah.
Like when you jump off your back foot to kind of like
for sure.
start to dive. And I get one of those jumps and I jump up like into a full like kind of dive and the fin goes like
no
right
way.
here.
Oh, that's
and I was
crazy.
like, yo, fuck that. It was only like 10, 12 yards to shore.
Yeah.
Maybe less than that because it was like a little gully.
Sure.
I got right in. I'm like, I'm retired. I'll go up to my ankles in Florida. I'm good.
There's so many sharks. I mean, we just put out a show last week on Shark Week about New Smyrna Beach and why. I don't know if you know this. It's the shark bite capital of the world.
Yes.
There's more bites taking place on New Smyrna Beach than everywhere else on the planet combined.
Danny Jones likes to go surf there, and I tell him not to do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is Darwinism, bro.
You will get bitten eventually.
Yeah.
Like it's like a statistical anomaly. Like you will, if you spend enough time in the water there, you will get bitten by a shark. It's not going to be life ending because it's typically smaller black tips and things,
Oh, that's reassuring.
but it still hurts. You're still going to get stitches and might have a messed up foot. Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah.
But we were saying this because you're trying to find a potentially extinct shark in India.
The Ganges River shark is of great interest to me. I believe they're still extant, meaning they're still around. There's another species that it's such a difficult one, but I'd love to work on. I also believe is still around called the pink-headed duck. That one's worth a Google.
Yeah, that's
because
getting Googled right
it's
now.
the only duck that looks like it in the world, and it's in that like Myanmar, India border area, which is a giant soupy wetland.
This is real?
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
Wow.
Search gets underway in Myanmar. It's so funny. There are all these people now and like offshoots that have started doing this search for lost species. And I don't want to say we created it, but it definitely gained popularity when we made a show about it.
You inspired people. You should feel great about that.
I do. I love it.
You
And
know?
the more people that find it, I don't want to be the one that I'm getting too old for that. I'd love it to be kids that are finding them and not me. Going into the swamps of Myanmar to search for a duck for 6 weeks sounds exhausting. I would love someone else to
There's
find
also
it.
a lot of shit going down in Myanmar right now.
Yeah,
so.
I won't be going back to Myanmar anytime soon. Yeah, it's gnarly. But yeah, I mean, that animal could easily be on the India side. It might also be on the Myanmar side, but I mean, look how cool that thing is.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's scientists have declared that extinct, but you think that still what evidence like are you going off of that makes you think it's still out there?
That one, again, going back to my earlier point, it's gut feeling is one, but that gut feeling is a derivative of there's a ton of habitat. It's in an area that doesn't have a lot of Western science, because when we say something's extinct, that's just us. That's just the Western world.
Right.
They don't, guys there that are killing and eating pig-headed ducks, they're just like, that's just food. Like, that's not a special thing. And then there have been a lot of sightings reported, people that have come through the woodworks, because, this is what my team does. Like, we dig into this data, but people that have come through the woodwork and gone like, yeah, I saw one of those when I was a teenager, or, 2 years ago, I was sitting out in a canoe and one of those ducks flew by, and it had a bright pink head and a brown body. It's like, there's not a lot of other things. So if you look at all the factors, like, where is it? How much science is going on there? Like you said, nobody's going to Myanmar right now. What is the habitat? Is there sufficient prey source? All those kind of things. And are there sightings? It checks a lot of the boxes.
Now, the book you said you're writing right now, we talked about that a couple hours ago. That was the one involving how they do science, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Renegade science.
It's not really like belittling how science is currently done. Yeah. It's more celebrating like renegade scientists, like people that break the mold, and usually have a ton of naysayers, and people say like, you're crazy and like you shouldn't do that, and then come out the other end of it like rewriting natural history.
Yeah. The reason I bring it up is because it's like, how many times do you think you're going to have to do something like this? Especially as a guy who's now been a very clear public figure for a long time. You're respected by a lot of people whose voice very much should matter on the issue around the world. Like, how many times are you going to have to find something before some of these fucking snobbed up people are like, you know what, maybe he's not wrong about everything?
Well, I think the problem is that I'm a public figure. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not everybody, right? Like, I think the majority, like, I think, and I don't know because I don't weigh myself against other public figures, but I think that I have a astoundingly positive, like, people like what I do a lot.
I agree. Yeah. You're a likable guy.
Yeah, well, that's lucky for that. But I don't think it'll ever go away. Like, I'm sure you have haters too. Like, everybody that's in the public light, everybody that's on social media or YouTube, they find these people come out of the cracks that are just like, I hate them. And you're like, I don't even know who you are. And I don't know why you hate me, but congrats, I guess, and I don't think I have very many of them, but whoever, they're definitely out there. I see the comments on YouTube and stuff like that here and there.
Yeah, you're always going to have those. Where I worry about it more for a guy like you who's an expert in a field and literally a scientist is like when people who have not a fucking YouTube commenter, but actual people who have pulled to do something about it, like in spaces like this, are shutting you down because they're like, oh, well, he does YouTube or whatever. Well, fuck you. I mean, we talked about this earlier, but like, how the fuck else are you supposed to educate people these days and get the word out and get kids excited about this stuff?
I would say I don't actually get that, which is lucky. If I reach out to a government or an organization or something and want to work with them, they're usually like, oh, yes, like that would be awesome. Like, we love what you do, or I've seen what you do, or let me look it up. And like, I'd love you to bring exposure to what we're doing. The pushback, I don't get a lot of like professional. I did in the early days. In the early days of like, hey, I'm going to go look for an extinct leopard. They're like, okay, tinfoil hat guy. They're like, you're a lunatic. Like, have fun, buddy. But now, after proving myself, as you've said a few times, I feel like most of the time, like when my team reaches out to someone and is like, hey, we'd love to come and, work on your elephant project or film at Ventara or whatever it happens to be, they're like, yeah, that'd be great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so
good to hear.
Really lucky in that regard. Yeah.
Who inspires you the most, like in the conservation space? Even stuff from growing up, people you may have never had a chance to meet.
It's a good question. I mean, my biggest inspiration was my grandfather, and he was a shopkeep in Harare. He wasn't exactly like a world-renowned conservationist, but he was just someone who understood the bush, would spend a lot of time out in the bush, walk with elephants, learn, listen. Not like me, didn't just yammer all the time. He actually listened. And that was always a big inspiration to me. But there are other people, like unsung heroes, again, what this book is about. David Ebert, I don't even know if he'll come up on Google, but his name's Dave Ebert, and you might want to type in sharks. He's basically the godfather of shark conservation. When Jaws and all these other things started, there you go. That guy, I love that guy, man. The lost shark guy, Dave Ebert, such an unsung hero, works in his little office, and I'm not trying to be belittling, at San Jose State in his tiny little crammed office. And this guy's named more shark species than anyone else on the planet. He's basically the godfather of shark conservation. Ivan Carter's someone I've known since I was a little kid. Most people don't know his name. He was like a world-renowned trophy hunter who one day, I feel like he shot his last elephant and was like, well, I'm never doing that again. It like broke his heart and he changed his mind.
Wow.
And I don't
that's
care.
Cool.
Like, I don't, like, I obviously I don't support that he used to kill all these
yeah,
things.
you got to win people over.
But
so,
he did it himself. He literally just went, nope, not killing anything anymore. And now he's like the most outspoken, astounding conservationist. And the list like this goes on and on and on. And you know, so I take inspiration from Ben Lamb.
Yeah.
Ben is not a conservationist. I'm sorry. Like, he is now by default, but he's a businessman, as you said earlier. He's a billionaire. He's a businessman. But like, I find the fact that he came in having truly no real interest in wildlife or conservation or anything as like a foundation, and now going, yeah, 50 million to fix EHV. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I find that inspirational.
I do. And that's the thing. Like, that's what I was really trying to get a read on when he was here. I'm like, is he just a business guy?
He is, but
yeah. You feel like he's really actually into it. His job is to go make money for the company. Don't get me wrong. Like that is the job.
Yeah.
But like, this is a guy who's having fun at the Explorers Club, and you can see when people light up when you talk about things.
Totally.
Now Matt will light up on every fucking thing ever
Well, he loves
he's
animals.
lived in it his whole life.
Yeah.
But then you'll see those some of those topics you get to with Ben, and he's like, "Oh, bro, let me tell you
freaks
about
out.
this."
Yeah, he freaks out.
And it's like, all right, that's cool. Like, you need people like that. You need people who are fans that actually like can do something about it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. Anat Ambani, the billionaire Indian guy. You want to talk billionaires? Like, he's on another level of wealth. I will sit at dinner with him and we'll be talking, and it's like I'm talking with it's like I'm 8 and he's 8 and we're little kids. And I'm like, did you see this one crocodile that has this? I remember I was sitting there and I was talking about okapis with him, which is like a horse zebra looking animal. It's actually in that video too, but you can just Google it. It's like this Congo zebra, horse, giraffe looking animal, OKAPI. And I'm talking to him.
This one wrong. Okapi.
That's it, yeah.
Okay, let me just set that in.
You're good. That animal. Beautiful creature.
What the fuck?
They're unbeful. Super shy.
This isn't
super
extinct?
elusive. No. Go back to that YouTube video I was in, and just scrub forward and you'll see me playing with one. Which is a very rare thing to do. But anyway,
I've never heard of this in my life.
Aren't they crazy?
Okay, Galante, what did we type in for that?
It's
again?
right there, bottom right.
Oh, I already got it up. Good.
I mean, I don't want to take up your time watching YouTube videos.
No, this is great.
If you just like go through that search bar, somewhere in there is me hand feeding one, which is, you see how big they are next to me. Keep going. But Anat, my point is, like, I was sitting at dinner with him one time talking. I go, oh, you know that albino okapi? And he goes, Forrest, it's leucistic. And I'm just like, you're such a dork. You know, he's just, yeah, there it is, just like me. And I find that inspirational. This guy spends hundreds of millions of dollars saving animals with no return. This isn't open to the public. No one can go there. This is just for him to save animals.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I love that stuff too. I find that inspirational. And then you've got this incredible creature. Look at it.
Are they endangered at all? Like,
you'd have to check their conservation status. They were at one point in time put on the endangered species list.
that looks like a fucking unicorn.
Isn't it? Isn't that crazy? So they're really interesting. They had mythological status.
Mythological.
So to the point that when Western, like I think it was Dutch scientists first went to the Congo, people would tell them about all these animals. They'd tell them about Moko, whatever that thing was, the dinosaur we looked at, and gorillas and all this. And they're like, okay, yeah, maybe. And then they like found gorillas. They're like, holy shit, gorillas are real. And then they found, whatever, the snake. And they're like, oh, that's real. And then there was like, oh, but there's also this animal, this okapi out there that has the stripes of a zebra and the body of a giraffe and the face of a horse. And they're like, okay, you're full of shit. Like, that's mythological. And then one day, sure enough, some Dutch scientists found him. And they're like, oh, wow, this wasn't a rumor. This is a real one.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, but they were considered a mythological animal for a long time.
What I don't expect you to know this off the top of your head, but what, like, ballpark, I can probably Google this after I ask it, but what ballpark percentage of species do we not even know about? Meaning not even ones that we knew and are declared extinct, but it's just like, we can estimate that X percent of the Earth, we don't even know this percent that actually exists.
It's such a boring way to answer this question, but the thing is, speciation has become such a weird field of science. Like, now, if you want to make your mark as a scientist, you go and look at, like, okay, there's squirrels here, and there's squirrels on the left side of the mountain, and there's squirrels on the right side of the mountain. They look identical, but there's a mountain range between them. If we catch both squirrels and test them, can we actually show that they're different species? So you or I might be like gray squirrel, but speciation in the sciences has become a way to like make your mark.
Semantics.
Semantics. And they're dividing so many species up. So if you try to take that out of the question, because I just didn't want to give a blanket answer, and just be like, how many animals are there like okapi still roaming around that we don't know about? I think it's like above the water, because the ocean's different. Above the water, it's like less than 1%. We've found most of the big animals. Like we know most of the big things. But there are still so many, like every single biological expedition to Papua New Guinea, Western Papua, comes up with like 15 new species. And I don't mean gray squirrel that's different from the other gray squirrel. I mean like, here's a deer we didn't know existed. Here's a type of dog that we'd never seen before. I mean, there's like some big stuff there. But for the most part, humans have spread so far around this planet. I mean, you know what it was like staying with Paul, and he probably knows all the animals, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the Amazon, I could see with your logic there how that's more of an outlier because it's this actual one big congested of wildlife, just fucking untapped area because it's almost the size. It's like 85% the size of the continental United States or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, when human beings being able to go that deep into there where there's uncontacted tribes and shit isn't fully possible, whereas other places are more reachable around the world. It's a smaller actual distance to cover. So maybe if you go to like Sri Lanka and some of their, I think, rainforests and stuff there, like I hope I'm getting like Indonesia or Sri Lanka, like it's smaller, so it's more accessible to get everywhere and thus find the species.
And there's islands that you can but still, I mean, there are undeniably big animals that we haven't described yet, but there's not like, it's not like 10% or something like that. It's a small amount.
Isn't it crazy, though, how we've only explored like 5% of the ocean tops?
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's a lot of speed. I mean, think about this. Until, I want to say 15 years ago now, and that number's probably wrong, we thought that the foundation of life, all life in the universe, required sunlight. The foundation of our food chain was photosynthesis, and it came from sunlight. Right. Then all of a sudden we put an ROV or a submarine down in the bottom of the ocean. They're like, wait a minute, there's hydrothermal vents here, and there's entire ecosystems of creatures, literally entire complex food webs that have never had a single thing to do with sunlight, that have evolved independently of sunlight. Like, maybe we should rethink
off
life.
That science.
Yeah, it's like we literally have to rethink how life works because we found that life can exist on hydrothermal energy. It has nothing to do with solar energy. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That was like 15 years ago. It's not like, when Charles Darwin was cruising around. It was like, oh, wait a minute. We are 100% sure as science that all life requires sunlight. Oh, no, we don't.
And then you look at how they map what some of the bottom of the ocean could look like and everything. It's mountain ranges and valleys, just like we have here. It's just covered by water.
Exactly.
And it's like, what is even in those crevices? You have no idea, man.
No idea. Yeah.
Fucking crazy, man.
Giant squids and all kinds of stuff down there that we don't know about still.
Also, though, have you followed this whole thing that's going on with like Paul Watson with the arrest and then finally they let him out and all that?
I'd love the SparkNotes version. I know he did something. He got arrested for like a year, right? And then he got released, and now he's back on the boats creating conflict again.
That part I got to see how much he's actually doing, but this is the guy who essentially like saves some of our whale species.
He's the whale wars guy.
Like walked the talk with this whole thing, and I guess because of that he was like wanted in Japan or something where they have some interesting practices when it comes to sea wildlife. And so maybe it was the Dutch, please correct me in the comments if I'm misremembering all this, but it was the Dutch who like arrested him and were holding him on like an Interpol warrant or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
To get him back, but now they got him out and all that. But it kind of disappointed me because it's like you literally have one of the true and blue, clearest, like legit made a mark on the earth conservationists of the last century. And what kind of message are we sending when the guy has to like fight internationally for freedom to not be arrested and sent to jail for trying to protect some of these creatures and whatever? That is where it gets weird. And you remember you got a bunch of totally different incentives around governments around the world, and yet we're all a part of the same populace where, if we care a lot, for example, about the climate here in America, who's to say fucking China does?
Exactly.
It gets so weird out there, and that's a little bit disheartening when I see that.
we also get this because we do live in the United States, and we get this sort of complacency about like that's what's important. Those are the laws. That would never happen. And then you go to any of these places we've talked about today, and it's like their laws are completely different.
Yes.
Their incentive is economic. Like they're still developing nations. They don't care if you're a good at heart trying to save whales. If you slow down their economic development, which can be a whaling ship, they're going to kill you. And they'll either kill you by putting you in prison for the rest of your life or execute you or anything else. And like, here we're like, that would never happen. Like, he's a hero to the whales. It's like, yeah, but that's not in Japan, not in China, not in wherever, not in Denmark or Norway or whatever it happens to be. Like, it's completely different.
Yeah. And then you have environments around the world where people have lived there for, thousands of years, and they're outside of society too. And you go in there and you're like, hey, we can help bring you to the new world. You talked about it a little bit of it, but it's like they don't want that.
They don't want that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got to respect that.
And when you do bring them, to tie this all together, like when you do bring them into the new world, when you bring them cell phones and shotguns and TVs and all these other things, that's when the habitat goes to shit.
Yes.
That's what destroys the environment. There's a reason the Sentinelese don't want to be contacted, right? They don't want to. They want to be left alone. These tribes in the Amazon, they want to remain uncontacted. They don't, not that they know what a cell phone is, but they don't want the outside world to come in and ruin their way of life. And they've maintained that way of life for many generations, which means they haven't wiped out all the animals. They haven't hunted it out. They haven't clear cut all the forests. They've kept things balanced.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's only us with all our modern tech and conveniences and things that imbalance it.
What was the most fascinating, I guess, like off-grid group you've had a chance to spend time with?
Actually, pretty recently, I went to Mota Island in Vanuatu. I went there with
I don't know where that is.
Yeah, so exactly.
Mota Island in Vanuatu, that does not narrow it down for me.
I doubt Mota Island will even come up, but it might. It's in southern Vanuatu, and I went there because the Nelk boys reached out to me and said, we want to go meet an uncontacted tribe. Yeah, so this island right here is Mota Island. Yeah, so it's that remote. I mean, you are out there. Yeah, so
this is like way off the coast of Australia.
Yeah, in an island nation called Vanuatu, and there is not much there. But we've had some really cool experiences with tribal people in Papua New Guinea and blah blah blah. But what I loved about Mota Island, take out the Nelk boys and all of that, and we had a good time. They're fun guys, but the tribe there is just they've managed to blend living a Western style and a primitive style very, very well. Like, they have t-shirts and clothes, but they still hunt. Oh, there we are. First one.
That's you guys?
Kyle and myself. Kyle from the Nelk Boys and myself with the Nelk Boys. But yeah, and they still hunt bats and they still wear grass skirts, and yet they go back to their huts at night that have a little bit of, that's my post. They have like generators for electricity. Like, they've managed to keep it balanced. And that's why I found it so interesting. Like, I've been with other tribes that are completely remote, and don't have any Western impact at all. I mean, some because I'm there, but like these guys I found really fascinating in the way they've balanced it, and they've maintained an island, which, like Easter Island syndrome, like you can collapse an island.
Can you explain that to people who aren't familiar with Easter Island?
Easter Island is the island with the big heads off the coast of Chile, I believe. Mm-hmm. And Easter Island syndrome is a thing where you're stuck on an island and your population grows. And so in order to sustain that population, you cut down all the trees, you eat all the fruit. And because you're so isolated, once you do that, your civilization collapses. So that's what they believe happened in Easter Island. Basically, they cut down the last tree to make a canoe to go fishing because the fish were so far out because they caught all the fish. And once you cut down the last tree, there was no coconuts, there were no more canoes, the whole population collapsed. So these guys, the reason you asked me what I found so fascinating, it's not just because of their remote lifestyle. I've been with lots of tribes that have a remote lifestyle. They have managed, they're like forest gardeners and ecosystem engineers. They're like, we live on a small island, Mota Island. We can collapse it. If we hunt every bat, if we cut down every tree, if we do that, our way of life will be gone. So instead, when they eat a mango, they take that mango seed and plant it back in the dirt.
Oh, wow.
Or when they go to kill bats, they look for a bat that doesn't have babies and they kill one bat and they eat that bat, per family. Like they're constantly regulating the environment and managing their island so that they can maintain their way of life. And not I mean, I was only there for a few days, but at no point in time did I get the inkling that they're like, man, we would love a Chili's here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they know what Chili's is, but you know what I mean? Nobody there was like wanting for like that Western lifestyle. Like,
I don't think I've ever talked to someone who said, man, I'd really love a Chili's right
yeah.
here, to be fair. It's like saying I really want a Long John Silver's
That's right. Yeah. Good
I've
filet
never
fish.
seen someone walk in there.
No, it doesn't.
Who eats there?
It's got to be a drug ring or something. No one goes to Long John Silver's. Dude, it's like, what's the mattress store that's all over the country? Like Mattress Firm or something? It's in every small town America.
Okay.
No one's ever bought a mattress from that place, ever. It's got to be like a cover-up for a drug ring or something. Like, who's going to Mattress Firm? Nobody.
So you were with these guys for just a few days, you were saying?
I went
on
with the
Mota?
Nelk Boys for a few days, and then I spent another 2 weeks there.
How did you make, after the Nelk Boys left?
Yeah.
Right.
On a neighboring island, but we went back and forth.
How did you make contact with them to like do this?
I met a guy named Brett. You know, you meet these people traveling.
named
and stuff.
Brett.
Guy named Brett. White guy named Brett from
Okay.
from
I was gonna say,
Australia.
he's not in the tribe.
No, he was Vanuatuan, but he grew up in like the capital city and stuff. And then he lives on a neighboring island that has this tiny little eco lodge type thing. So I met Brett. Brett invited me, and then he told me about Mota, about these people, and he's the only white guy that's ever been indoctrinated into the Mota tribe.
Oh, wow.
So he speaks the language. The language is insular to that area, not that island, but that area. He speaks the language. He went through a whole ceremony to be indoctrinated as a member of the tribe, everything. Only white guy that's ever had that. I was just a visitor.
Yeah.
And so he's like a part of he's removed because he's a Western guy, but he's like part of the tribe. So when he visits, he's welcomed and things. And so I went with him, and that's how I found them.
What does their language sound like? Is it relatable to anything that we would know?
No, it's like Pidgin a little bit, you know. So
Like pigeon.
not the bird pigeon.
Oh.
Pigeon is like a hodgepodge of languages.
Gotta be careful. You're in Hoboken. We got a lot of pigeons around here.
No, it's like a little bit Pidgin where it's like a hodgepodge of English and tribal language and all these other varying things. And they had missionaries go through that area, so a lot of people speak English.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's like it's like not great English, but it's English enough to
Something.
get through. Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where you've been spending, you're embedded with some sort of tribe and it's actually sketchy as fuck and it's scary?
Yeah. Yeah. I
How
mean,
did that
like,
happen?
not in an embedding situation, but like in Papua New Guinea 3 years ago, we were hiking up this river to look for this tribe that worships sharks to try and find this type of epaulet shark. And we're walking up this creek. We get told in town is this tiny little town of like 100 people. They're like, oh, you need to go meet the tribe people that come to town and trade with us, blah, blah, but you need to meet them and talk to them about the sharks. No problem. We'll go to town. We'll go to the tribe. Like, how do you find them? It's like, oh, you take a canoe to the end of the creek, then you walk up the creek. It's like, okay, no problem. So we canoe up from the town to where the creek starts, go up the creek as far as you can. Certain times of the year you can go further, right? When it's wet season. So we were there in the dry season. So the canoe doesn't make it very far. Then we get off the canoe and start walking along the creek. So we're walking along the creek and I look up and there's a skull on a stick, a human skull. And I'm like, holy shit, there's a skull. And me being me, I'm like, they do this in Papua, to be clear. But me being me, I'm like, let's go in and check that out.
Oh,
so I
nice.
climb up this little hill where the skull on the stick is, and there's a cave opening. So you go in the cave opening, and there's a picture on my Instagram, I think, but I go into this cave littered with human skulls, like hundreds of them, hundreds and hundreds of them, real human skulls. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't think we're supposed to be here, because I just popped in to see what it was.
Oh my God.
And I come out and the tribal warriors are standing there watching me with spears. And they're like, why are you in our cave? Again, missionaries have been through there, so they speak English. And I'm
they're
like,
speaking English too.
yeah, yeah.
That's gotta be creepy.
It's different, tribal guys named John Dudley and things like that because the missionaries have been through there. Yeah, it's really bizarre. Anyway, these warriors have watched me go in, like they've stalked us because they're like, what are these white boys doing here? They've stalked us through the jungle. Then they've watched me basically, it's not like I peed on the skulls, but like desecrate their tribal burial site because I hopped into it to see what it was. And I come out and they weren't angry, but they also weren't, they were just very stern. Like they're like, why are you in our cave? To be honest, they actually didn't say anything there. They just took us to the village and then the chief was the one who communicated with us.
You're not shitting yourself when you're
The
going
whole time.
Okay.
Like I had a pocket knife, like on my back belt, and I remember I reached back and I put my hand on my pocket knife like I was gonna do anything. You know, it was like a
Well, you got to go down with a fight.
Exactly. And I remember my cameraman was behind me, and he literally swatted my hand away because there was a guy looking over his shoulder, and he saw me like reach back at my blade, you know? And so he's like, don't do it, because he didn't want, you know, we didn't want it to escalate. But yeah, they took us in, and then I explained the whole situation. Like, we were trying to find the village. So we came up the creek, and I saw the skull, and I went in, and he's like, okay, you know, and then it was fine. It was like, yeah, you know, like, you weren't here to do any damage. I was like, I'm just here to talk about sharks. And he's like, yeah, what do you want to know?
You're just like, I'm just going to back away.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now. Great day.
Yeah.
We're good. We got all the content we need.
Yeah. So
my God,
been in
man.
some weird situations like that where you just like, you end up looking around, you're like, right, I'm in a cave filled with human skulls. I probably shouldn't have done this.
Well, minus the human skulls and happening upon some of those things, it's very clear to me that like you're living out your dreams and actually doing the damn thing.
For sure.
There's a lot of people who never get to do that in their life. So that's really, really cool that you've been able, like, you grew up among this and then you found your way back to it very quickly after you had to leave Zimbabwe, which is a pretty wild story, by the way. And, you know, now you get to travel the world and go find shit that other people think doesn't exist, or go look at the shit that most people will go their whole lives without seeing. That's fucking awesome, man.
Anyone can do it. That's the thing. Yeah. You know, if a D student from Zimbabwe who came here as a refugee can do what I've done, that's what I love about this country so much in America. It really is the land of opportunity. If you are that passionate about something and that motivated about it, it doesn't matter if it's looking for animals around the world and filming them, or study, or being a finance bro, or golfing, or it just doesn't matter what it is, being a podcaster. Like, if you are that passionate about something, you can become an expert at it. And if you become an expert at it, you can make a career out of it.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.